here. New at 5 from the I-Team troubleshooter, an absolute cruise trip nightmare for a mom and her kids after they were turned away from the port in Florida.
Troubleshooter Diane Wilson is here with what exactly went wrong for this family. Hi, Diane.
Hi, guys. This is the spring break travel season, and cruising is a very popular choice. And this is one of those situations where this mom says she thought she did everything right and was told one of her sons, could not board.
It was a surprise for the kids.
A surprise cruise for Shannon Nutting and her 4 kids, and she filmed the big reveal as she was pulling into the cruise terminal at Port Canaveral.
My 9-year-old was so excited, she was speechless and started crying.
But those happy tears quickly turned to sad tears as they were checking in for the Royal Caribbean cruise. Staff told her there was a problem with her 16-year-old son's student ID.
He said, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to board today because the school ID is not acceptable. So I explained to him that we had talked to Royal Caribbean and they had assured us that the school ID was valid. And I was upset by that point, crying. So I asked, could I speak to a supervisor?
And talking with a supervisor did not help.
Explained to her that my son has special needs. That's one of the reasons he did not yet have a state-issued ID, and that I had called to make sure he could board without it. She said she didn't care what he had and we couldn't board, and she just walked away.
Stuck at the port and could only watch as the ship they're supposed to be on sailed away.
All that year of saving and paying on it, everybody was just heartbroken and devastated. Everybody was exhausted. I did not want to get on the road for 8 hours and travel back I-95 with 4 kids by myself and my babysitter.
Shannon stayed in Florida while her travel agent kept calling Royal Caribbean to get answers.
They told her that we should have been able to book. At that point, they wanted us to fly to Cozumel, for us to pay to fly to Cozumel and board the ship 2 days later.
An option Shannon says she was not willing to do, so they made the best of it and stayed in Florida and enjoyed it there for a few days. Meanwhile, Shannon's travel agent contacted Royal Caribbean. In writing, a Royal Caribbean representative wrote, "I cannot begin to apologize enough for this and am doing all that I can to rectify it." The cruise line did offer 3 options. The first, no money back, but what she paid can be used as 100% future cruise credit on another cruise, plus $700 onboard credit. The second option, a full refund. And the third, a full refund on the cruise plus a 25% future cruise credit. Shannon says none of the 3 options are acceptable.
We wanted the money for the cruise back and the expenses. The expenses that we had for traveling to Florida while we were there, for meals, gas, the lodging, and all of that.
Royal Caribbean told me this was human error by staff at the cruise port, and Shannon and her family should have been able to board as they had the right documentation. She added because of this incident, the cruise line provided additional training to staff at the port to prevent this from happening again. When I asked why Shannon's expenses are not going to be covered, the representative said the full refund of the cruise would cover those.
If I made a mistake and they offered me anything, any kind of refund, then I would think that would be gracious of them. But I didn't make any mistakes. I made sure we had all the documentation, everybody's birth certificates were certified, the people who needed IDs had IDs, and I just feel like them offering a refund of the cruise price is just unacceptable.
Now, Royal Caribbean has not offered anything more. Shannon says it's by thinking she did everything right to board the ship. She said next time she goes on a cruise, she will make sure to get everything in writing as opposed to just verbally being told her son's student ID would be enough, as they were all told verbally that. But as it turns out, they should have been allowed to board anyways.
And I think there's an important takeaway for us all. If something like that happens, no matter where you are, escalate it to someone else at the cruise line, the airline, whatever it is, and have someone take another look at that. Shannon did everything right. She did all of her homework.
She really did it all.
Yeah.
She spoke to supervisors, and it still just was not enough to get on that cruise. But she still said she'll cruise after all that.
Oh, wow.
So frustrating.